Having boned out our lumbar section of the double loin, most traditionally we could put a stuffing of choice into the centre and then forming that back into a nice cylindrical joint for roasting. But as an alternative, there are several other things we can make from this cut. So what I want to do is just remove the fillets, and they can be used on their own in several dishes. So off comes the little fillets. I'm going to actually separate these two loins. Working on this one first, I'm going to produce a cannon. Now the cannon is basically just the eye of the loin. So I need to remove the eye from the back skin and fat. Again, just taking care not to damage this eye muscle. Some of it can be done by just using your thumb or a finger, but not wanting just to rip this out and possibly tear the muscle. So that is the unprepared eye muscle from that loin. Loin flap has still got an element of meat. That will be at a later stage taken down, further trimmed and utilised in other dishes. But we're going to concentrate on this eye muscle. Need to just do some trimming. We have a little coarse, high collagen gristled muscle, or the chain running along the edge of the eye. So we just carefully remove that. So that's the chain muscle. A little bit of it here. And we will remove the little fine silver connective tissue that lay underneath that at the same time. While on the underside of the loin, we just need to remove the remaining silvers that were from the edge of the bones. Again, just taking care not to dig into this muscle. The more incisions and cut marks you make into the meat, the more surface area you're producing to allow the meat juices to come out during cooking. So the more careful we can be in our preparation, the more chance we have of keeping that succulence inside that piece of beautiful loin of lamb there. So once we're happy with the underside being trimmed, we just now need to remove this thick silver gristle that lies over the back. And again, it's about taking care not to cut into this loin eye, and just removing the silver gristle. So again, just checking as I go every time, just making sure I'm just removing the silver gristle carefully over that eye muscle. And there is our silver gristle fully removed, but without damaging that underlying fine textured eye. Last little bit off, and that is our fully trimmed eye muscle or cannon of lamb. And just taking that little bit of care and attention to get everything fully trimmed. Eye of the loin. So that is our lamb cannon. Alternatively, we can remove the chain again from the other side of the boneless loin. Now this is a piece of quality Scotch lamb with just a nice even covering of back fat, and I just want to trim again on the inside any little connective tissue from the edge of the tips of the bones that we removed. I'm going to leave some of the tail on to the eye muscle. And I'll prepare 3 different things from this little piece. We can, of course, make what we term a Valentine steak, or a double loin steak, or a butterfly steak. It's basically cutting partly through our first slice and then fully through our second, and just opening up to give us our Valentine steak. Again, we can just take, if I turn it round, just take thin steaks from the loin. We can produce what we can term, and on this size I might want to just reduce the tail down slightly. And we have here our little lamb sirloins. And finally, just the last little piece, again, reduce the tail down. If we have any excess channel fat in the middle, just remove the heaviest part of that. And again, if wished, I can just lightly diamond score across the back to have a little mini lamb sirloin roast. So we have 4 simple products from our boneless lumbar section of the loin: our cannon, Valentine's, lamb sirloins, and a little mini lamb sirloin roast.